Hey Divine, it's so crazy because I was not even going to record today at all. I was not going to record. I was literally literally sitting here, I was like, I'm kind of tired. I don't really feel like, making a video this morning while I'm on my way to work. But I was just thinking, because I had to fill out some paperwork recently, and it was asking me about like my medication history, and I've been on like antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications before. I've also been on like ADHD medications, which I'm not a fan of. I really don't like them. And I was like, I don't really remember like the names or the dosages because it's been throughout the years. I was like, but one thing I do remember is why did I stop taking medication? I don't really remember. And I was like, oh yeah, I stopped taking it because it wasn't really, I was like, because that's not really what I needed at the time. And I was sitting here like I wasn't working on myself during those times I was taking medication. For a very long time, I thought that if I went to therapy, if I went to a psychologist and I got on some sort of medication, that it was going to help me. It was going to help me get better. That's what I thought that meant. I thought it meant that I was going to be able to, start feeling better and be happier. I really thought that that's what was going to happen when I started taking medication, and when I started taking it regularly, and the weeks went by, the days went by, and I'm like, I still don't feel any better. I still don't feel happy. I'm still having anxiety. I was like, I don't want to rely on this medication to coast. I was like, this just is no way to live. And the last time I was on antidepressants was like right before I found out I was pregnant. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to make it through without these. And it was a difficult pregnancy because of that. Not that they were helpful, but it wasn't solving the problem. But what I've come to the understanding is that those medications only work if you are actively trying to get better. If you're actively trying to relieve yourself of the stress and the depression can come up on you and grip you and not want to let you go. So I understand that. But you got to keep fighting every day. You got to keep trying to find something to look forward to. You got to keep trying to find something to hold on to so that you can keep going, because I've been there for a long time, and the medications aren't designed to be a fix-all. They're not a magic pill. Like, I feel like a lot of people sometimes go to therapy too, and they don't tell their therapist certain things that they need to know in order to help them relieve some of that stress. I remember my last therapist, she was telling me like, she was like, you're so honest. She was like, one of my clients, she said that she was assaulted by one of her family members, and she still is in contact with that person, and she hangs out with them, and she gets anxious when she has to, and she doesn't feel like, oh well, that's my family, like. And I'm like, I didn't understand that, because I was like, if I was assaulted by one of my family members in any way, shape, or form, whether I was a child or an adult when it happened, I would not want to be around that person. And this is what I'm talking about. This is why people be having anxiety. We have so many like societal pressures. We have so many we have a lot of dysfunctional family dynamics too, where people say like, oh well, you only get one mom, and well, that's still your mom, that's still your dad, that's still your sister, and well, we're family, you don't have to. And as I say that, someone's license plate says family jet, but it's like, oh, that's still your sister, all that bullshit, right? And it's like, no, no, I don't have to stick around for this. I can honestly say, like, even though I went through so much in the last year and a half, 2 years, even though I went through so much during that time, 92, I felt so much better not being in contact with my family. I felt so much better not being associated or in contact with any of those people that I worked with, even the people who I liked. The day that I had no choice but to not return back to that job, I literally went on my Facebook page and I deleted the last 2 people that I was cool with off of there, because I was like, it's not personal. I just can't be associated with you guys anymore, because as long as you are connected to those people, they will always feel like they have access to me. They're going to try to get you to say something to me and do stuff and, you know, try to get information. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. And it's like, it's nothing personal, but when people's eyes aren't open to what's really going on, because there are people right now who are friends with the narcissist in your life, who are cool with the narcissist in your life, and they may never find out until that person passes away, or until, you know, much later on, until years from now. They may not find out for a long time. Some of them may never really find out how that person truly was. But, you know, it may be a while before they find out the type of person that the narcissist really is. There's a lot of narcissistic parents that are getting exposed right now, especially with social media, because now people aren't being silent anymore. Narcissists love silence, okay? They love silence. And this is what they be wanting. This is why they treated you the way they treated you, because they wanted you to slowly deteriorate, and they wanted you to slowly kill yourself. It brought them so much joy to hear you saying that you were going to therapy and all this other stuff. Not because they wanted you to get better, but so then they could say like, oh yeah, well she's crazy, so well she needs that therapy because, you know, there's something wrong with her or whatever. And it's so crazy to me that people will try to use that against you, or use your previous mental health against you, like, oh well, this person has been going through, so you know that they just not right. And even though it's like what you were going through was abuse, and no, you're not crazy for the abuse that you were going through. You're not crazy for that. You're not crazy for the reactions that you're having. You're not crazy for feeling like, why am I not good enough for my family? Why are the people at my job, why are the people in my community, why are the people at my church treating me this way when I don't know what I did wrong? No, I'm not a perfect person, but what did I do to deserve this? You didn't do anything to deserve it. Those people just don't like you, and they want you to suffer because they're evil. No, you're not perfect. No, you didn't always do everything right, but neither did they. Because just as much stuff as you could point at them and say like, oh yeah, you didn't do this, you don't do that type of stuff because you don't have to. But I can guarantee you that there is no amount of medication that's going to help you feel better if you're still in the wrong environments. I can honestly say that. Because I just could not understand, like, I was making major breakthroughs during the time I was in therapy, the last time I was in therapy. That's when I started realizing, I was like, these people, that's when I really started noticing the attacks. I was like, okay, I wasn't doing nothing to this person. I was just walking in the hallway and they was trying to set me up. And I peeped it and I just kept it moving. And I didn't react or respond. And now they're mad at me because they feel exposed for the type of person that they are. And they want to try to make me out to be this weird and bad person, but I didn't do anything wrong. And it was like the evil was really showing itself. And, you know, at the time I was taking medication and I stopped taking it because I was like, maybe I need to test this theory out. I was like, because I don't think the medication is what I need. I think what I need is a better environment. And I stopped taking the medication. I started going outside more and walking every day. I started drinking more water. I started eating better. I started exercising more. And lo and behold, I started feeling so much better. I stopped associating with certain people. Like, that's when I really started, like, not answering the phone and calling my mom. That's when I stopped really fucking with my sister. that's when I started deleting people off of my Facebook page, like all of them people I grew up with. And I started realizing, I'm like, at the time I was 28, and I was like, I haven't spoken to most of these people in 10 years, and I don't intend to. And honestly, I mean, it's nice to see people who, we're all getting older, we're all like settling down, having children, creating our own families and all that. That's nice and all, but I'm like, I don't have the capacity I don't really care. Like, we're not friends, so I want to be around people, and I want to see the lives of the people who I care about. These people don't care about me. And I'm not interested in continuing to, watch from the sidelines of people's lives. I don't need to be in tune with these people. We're not on the same frequency. I don't talk to these people. What am I keeping tabs on them for? That's why I started deleting people. And then I really started deleting people during the election, because people were just putting a whole bunch of bullshit and nonsense on the internet. And I was like, people be feeding into propaganda, and it really baffles me, especially coming from the same like educational background as some of these people. I'm like, you can't be this stupid. I started getting rid of some of the overly religious people on my pages too, because I'm like, some of y'all are so lost in the sauce on this on some of this religious shit that you don't even hear yourself when you talk, and that was getting frustrating. But anyways, so after all of that, removing people out of my life, taking people off my social media, blocking people, just, having my social media be, more in tune with myself and what I wanted to be, and just about what the things that I wanted to see, I started feeling so much better. And I was like, I didn't need those antidepressants, and maybe they might help a little bit. I don't know, they might help somebody. I was like, but the medication wasn't the fix. The fix was me. I needed to fix me. I needed to work on me. I needed to make better decisions for me. I needed to remove people out of my life. And I always thought, like, oh, well, I don't want to be without these people. Why not? What are these people doing? They're not benefiting you in any way, shape, or form. They don't really like you. They don't really want you around. So what's the point? My mom and her family don't really like me. So what am I sticking around them for? What am I coming to family events for? You're not interested in me. You don't really want me to talk. You want me to bring my baby around just so you can go and, ogle at her, and then I'm just sitting here. No, I don't want you touching all up on my baby, and you don't even know her. No, I don't want to keep bringing my daughter to family events to people that she doesn't fuck with. My baby's about to turn 3 in March, right? And you know what she was telling me yesterday? She was naming off people. She was like, you, mommy. She was talking about you, daddy. Sorry. Her sister. She was naming my grandma. She was naming her uncle. She was like, you guys are my family. That's who she knows who her family is. My mom and my sister and all of them people, those are not her family. Them people have made zero effort since she was born to have a relationship with her. They made zero effort to have a relationship with me. So I'm like, we're not family. We are blood relatives. That's all we are, and that's all we're ever going to be. The people at that job that I had to leave, you're nothing to me. And you will continue to be nothing to me. I'm not worried about y'all. Period. You wanted me to suffer? I suffered. Okay? I did. It was really hard. But I'm still standing and I'm still here. But I just want to let somebody know that, you can go to therapy and you can get on the medications. If you feel like that's the best route for you, I say do it. Because I'm not saying that those things can't be beneficial, because they absolutely can be. The real problem is if you're not removing yourself from environments and removing yourself from situations that no longer serve you, you are going to continue to have those issues. You're going to continue to have you're going to continue to suffer. Really, you're going to continue to have problems. You're going to continue to feel sad all the time. Those pills are not going to fix everything for you. They're not. They can definitely help regulate your nervous system. They can help a little bit with that, for sure. But they are not designed to be a fix-all for your life problems. You have to do the work on the other side of it. That's what you have to do. You have to do the work on the other side for yourself. If you're not doing the work, you won't see any results. You're not going to see any results. And that was the problem that I had for the longest time. I wasn't doing the work. All I was doing was taking the pills, and I can continue to do the same things. And I was like, I don't understand why I'm not getting better. It's because I wasn't doing anything that was benefiting me. I still was talking to people who didn't like me. I still was trying to perform for people that already made it very clear that they didn't care about me being present or not. You know, so it's like once you get to that point and you say, I realize that I can't be around these people anymore, it's going to hurt, okay? Especially when it's like family, especially when it's like a job that you've been at. I put in almost 7 years at that job. Almost 7 years. And I was a good employee. I may have been late a lot. Like as far as like in my last year there, I came to work late almost every day. One, because I stopped caring. But two, I was like, these motherfuckers done brought us back into the office for no reason. And so I'm not going to break my back trying to get here for these people who don't even fuck with me like that. I'm not doing it. So, yeah. Period. Okay? Period. Okay? So, I say all this to say, I love you guys, and I just want you to know, like, you gotta do the work, okay? If you want to see the results, you gotta do the work. If you're not gonna do the work, those pills, going to therapy, all of that, none of that shit's gonna really work for you if you're not working on yourself outside of that. Like, when you go to therapy, you should be leaving with homework to think about. If your therapist isn't opening up a perspective for you and making you think more, then you need to go find a different therapist. If you are not taking care of yourself, like I'm about to start getting my doctor's appointments together, because there's some things that I need to address. Like, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not drinking your water, you're not eating right, you're not, like I just said, like, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to get any better. It really starts with you. And removing yourself from situations and from people is one of the biggest things that's going to help you feel better. You would notice how much energy you have. I mean, I'm tired all the time, but I have way more energy now than I used to. Way more energy. It's crazy to me. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I gotta go, but I love y'all. I'll see y'all later. It's your girl, Kay Divine. Bye.